Why is the jury laughing?
Zero chance of winning the game.
Supposed to talk glamour to you.
My grandmother's sitting home watching Jerry Springer.
Lee, is there any way I could have your jacket?
Welcome back to Survivor Breakfast. We are talking the season premiere of season 45 of Survivor. Boys, it is good to be back. It is great to see you, boys.
Survivor is back.
What a beautiful song.
That is brutal.
What a beautifully
brutal.
song.
It's great. It's great to be back. It's gonna be fun with the new 90-minute episodes we'll have all year long, and we've been pretty accustomed to it on the premiere night, right? But we're gonna have some longer intrigue. We'll dissect what that really lent itself to in tonight's episode in terms of the value it created. But holy cow, we got a mixed bag.
We got to talk about the episode because I think there are some highs. I think there are some lows.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I posted it and I showed it to you guys already on our Twitter page. The fanfare is not happy. The majority of the Survivor faithful, about on our poll on our Twitter page, go follow us at Survivor Breakfast, voted the episode an F. I mean, a lot of that's going to be the takeaway of Hannah's, pseudo quitting at the end.
It was a quit.
That was absolutely a quit. She
You see Jeff's face.
Extortion.
It's bad. It's bad. And I'm sorry to commandeer this here, but before we joined in here, Sim, you and I are going back and forth, and there's value in reality TV, to see ups and downs of people really battling, the elements of what Survivor presents. But there's a lot of Survivor faithful that really would love to, and there's a foundation of fans that would love to be out on the island and be a part of this magnificent show that's been going on for so long. So for a quit is a real, pretty much
Jeff
disrespectful thing. Yeah, and he should.
He can't contain his face. You could see
I thought he was gonna fist fight her.
He's sitting there. He's sitting there shaking his head. Obviously, Sabaya looked so angry. Like what's the point of having a plan if someone just gonna just impromptu force you to vote them out and not even just if you're gonna quit, get up and quit, own it. Come on. No.
Well, while we're talking about this, I'm gonna pull up while we talk today. We're gonna hold up this chart we have here.
Yeah, that was
the cast members. Just so
that'll help.
Survivor castaway key. We'll call it the castaway key.
Yeah, exactly. So just maybe for this first week or two, everybody can know who we're talking about as we're chatting about them. But yeah, I mean, look, if I'm Caleb and Sabia, I would have been so upset.
Dude,
you could feel them wanting to be like, no, we're not gonna vote Hannah. We're gonna vote for Emily. They really.
Caleb was in disbelief. I don't know how. Caleb was like, "How did I end up here? How did I end up here?" And
he truly was sitting there the whole episode, just how did I get put on this?
How did I end up here the entire time? I mean, to be honest with you, just even looking at the tribe, face value, I know looks can be deceiving, and you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but if you look at the what is it, Reba tribe, they are flawless. They don't have a single chink in their armor, in a game where you're competing at the level that they competed in tonight. I mean, and then you look at Lulu and it's okay, well, obviously they don't have a shot. I mean, they don't have a shot. Am I wrong?
I will say
No. They had no shot in hell.
They had no shot. No, but do you think that the producers thought that Brandon was going to be as bad at challenges as clearly
that's the root of the entire issue for them. I mean, because you had a mix. No one's beating up Emily for her effort in any of the challenges. Emily's a whole different enigma, anyways, right? But the combination of Brandon's ineptitude, and kind of the the fortified
low morale, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you said you thought Reba was number one, but didn't Balo win both?
They did
outright.
They won both. But the point is, I'm just saying, looking at face value, you have to see Reba looks like they don't really have any like liability just by looking at them. And then you look at
Reba
Lulu.
and Bello seem pretty from face value, at least to
Sure,
me, like
fine.
pretty
You can use them
on
both.
paper, pretty even.
Use them both as an example if you want, but I'm just saying, like, I like you see Sifu, he's like a big guy. You see Austin, he's jacked. Like, how do you put them both in the same tribe? And then you leave Caleb out here fighting for his life. I mean, Caleb is fighting for his life.
Well, listen, I agree, but I mean, again, Sean and Emily were you can't come after them for their effort and the challenges. It's really just the mix of having Hannah and Brandon on the same tribe. And I
Yeah.
don't listen.
Yeah.
I haven't been through a full casting process. I don't understand it. I see some people on Twitter, right, immediately after the show, former castaways, talking about that there's ample testing that goes through.
For sure.
That all the castaways go through, psych tests and whatnot to kind of judge how their reactions are going to be on the island. So you would have to think that there's some sense of safeguards that they put in place.
They don't want this happening. They don't want it happening.
And honestly,
but you got to think that those safeguards are in general working pretty well to have as few of these quits as we've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, it is rare for this to happen.
well, there was a good stretch in the 20s where it happened a lot more often, but
That's probably where they implemented it more,
yeah, but here's where they screwed up. I mean, putting Hannah and Brandon on the same tribe was really the root of the issue, because at Brandon's situation
Comforting.
perpetuated Hannah's situation. Hannah may have went down the path anyways, but she was watching Brandon struggle. Brandon still struggling to the end, through the end of the episode still.
Yeah.
They screwed up. They screwed up big time by putting those two on the same. Well, they really screwed up in general casting Hannah. Unfortunately, again, I'm not. This isn't supposed to be a beat up fest, but it is disrespectful to what the sentiment of the game
sucks.
is.
I mean, she's extorting the rest of her team to be like, look, I don't need to be voted off to leave. And it's like, all right, well, what do you
do then?
Also, like, if I'm Caleb, like, we were talking about this when I was watching the episode tonight. If I'm Caleb, I'm like, Hannah, look, I'll send you home tomorrow. We're still gonna lose. Like, I will send you home.
Well, that's what Sabaya pretty much said. That's what Sabaya said.
I know. It's like
Sabaya straight up wanted to vote out Brandon really bad. And listen, quite honestly, they're gonna lose
I thought
next
Caleb
week.
and Sabaya wanted to get rid of Emily.
No,
I think it was going towards Brandon.
I think they had to vote out Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, he's an auto loss.
No, it's not. I don't know if it's been this bad. It's an auto loss.
Can we back up for a second?
And it's my namesake. It feels horrible. I've never had a. We've got Brando and Brandon and my namesake on here, and it's not great.
I know.
The one line, I think the best line of the night was when he fell climbing up the ramp,
And laid there.
He laid there and he wasn't getting up, and Jeff, without missing a beat, was like, "Hey, get up, buddy. You wanted to do Survivor. This is Survivor. Like, get up." I'm like worried, like, oh, are we gonna get medical out here again?
Yeah, I thought
I'm
he,
like,
dislocated his shoulder.
no, he was just like, get up, like, enough.
It was
It's
rough.
true.
It
It's
was
true.
rough.
You sign up for it. Like my empathy
Yeah.
runs like kind of dry at that point. I'm like,
It
bro, get up.
does for me too. And it's like, I there's a line too where it's reality TV and it's, some of it's fun. So they're casting because clearly they bring an element that's, a bit, of a wild card. But at the same time, you claim to be so much of a fan, and
You
you're
know this ramp is coming.
you're pioneering and running almost on a campaign all night, saying, "Oh my God, it's a lot harder." But tonight had a lot to do with effort. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
it
Especially
truly had a
day
lot to
one.
do with
Day
effort.
one, you're a lot less exhausted than you are day 25.
Dude, Caleb is
100%.
climbing up first on his own and going back down and getting other people. He had to go up and down multiple times. I mean,
Yeah.
Caleb can't do that. That's not fair to Caleb. Like, at a certain point, you got to be like, you go up the ramp, you stay up the ramp. That's how it works.
Yeah, listen. So we'll dive
I think that's
deeper.
part of the problem, though, is that we know that Brandon could have performed better. It's just his mental was not allowing him to, right? And so I think that's probably why that snuck through. It's probably a similar thing for Hannah, where from the outside, it's like, all right, they might not be the strongest, competitors out there, but they're going to be, fine like everybody else. And then this was kind of the perfect storm for them, it seems like.
It's unfortunate though, because the Survivor's a game where the dominoes start to trickle and fall, and it create the game can go in any direction once you hit the island, right? So
Yeah.
now Hannah quits, right? And we'll dissect this now. I don't know if producers are scrambling right after they see all this and say, let's not have something so physical. I mean, it's still sad that they would even have to do that, but
No, because it's the game.
Lulu will lose next week. I mean,
I don't think the producers do that. I think they do a physical one again, because I think the producers saw that Brandon was also saying, I also want to go home. So
He
if
didn't
I'm a
say he wanted
producer-
to go home. Brandon
He-
didn't say
he did.
He
He
did.
did.
Yeah,
he
He
did.
lent
Hannah.
his ear to that line of thought for a minute.
I
was like,
thought
I
he was,
also
I
wanna
thought he
go
was
home.
saying like I'm a liability and I know it. Like
No, he was saying
He was saying it right before he said the shot in dark thing. He almost
makes
said that
sense.
as if like that was
So-
going to make him go home.
so.
I think it will-
What's
Go
the
ahead.
diagnosis here? Do we think that like they were on the beach and like Brandon and Hannah were just festering, like
I
they're
think they
just
were
like back
feeding
and
off of
forth,
each other.
like
Yeah, no,
kind of
well,
like
that
spiraling?
was the biggest.
Yes.
That was the worst decision they made, is putting those two on the
Okay.
same tribe,
I think
because
Alright, that's
they
fair.
fed off of each other's
And they were just
pessimism
going
without
down.
being out there. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because Brandon actually like highlighted that as like one of his strengths is his like ability to comfort people. And if it really is the case that he was like kind of without knowing kind of like forcing this downward spiral, like it's even more of a reason why you don't want him on your team. You don't want to need Brandon to comfort people, because then that means that you're losing, right? You're losing. You don't want, right? Like you want to get
You don't
rid of
want
the
him
thing
to,
that's
you don't want him
causing
to
you
have to use his superpower.
Exactly.
Is what you don't want. The other thing that I wanted to mention about Hannah, I'm sorry to keep beating down on these people, but one of the things that Hannah said when she was like really upset about like, I want to go home, I want to sleep in a bed, I want to eat food, she was like, I really want nicotine. I was like,
Yeah.
if you're coming onto this show, you gotta be weaning off nicotine.
It's happened though.
Like,
It's happened
You
a bunch
can't
of
be
times.
going through withdrawals on Survivor. You got to know that you're going on. They're not going to
Zane-
give you cigarettes.
Zayn Knight was like I was thinking that like a bunch this like episode, like it was like a Matt Singh like first episode, like really bad single tribe performance. It's like
Yeah.
Zayn Knight was like talking about how he literally just cold turkey stopped smoking cigarettes and then came onto the beach, and then he basically said vote me off, and then used it as a test to see if people would actually vote him off, and they did vote him off. It was very like similar, like kind of structured like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look,
no, you're
I think
right.
I think we're really coming down on these two guys. Something that
Well,
I really
hold
wanna
on,
talk about-
We're never going to talk about Hannah again, Simi. We could get it out of our system right now.
Yeah,
Sure,
but-
sure. We're spending 15 minutes just.
No, and we'll talk about the other two tribes for sure. But I think
No, I want
again,
to talk about somebody on this tribe.
who?
I
Oh,
want to
Emily.
talk about Emily. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
crazy.
100%. And again, I do think this is a casting hit, because I think she's a one of a kind personality. I mean, she's just one lane. Her thought process. She seems like she's a very intelligent person. But a
There's
meeting,
no, there's no adaptability.
there's no
it's like-
adaptability to a crowd. Yeah.
It was like the most,
social
like,
read is
way off.
non-existent.
No, it's not even off. It's not. It's
It's
not.
not
She.
there.
No.
It's
It's being ignorant. She didn't care.
Well, actually, yeah, because she was reading it. She literally.
Yeah,
had an
she
interview
said.
when
She
was
said.
like,
She said my days are numbered. I don't do well in this space. It's like,
like,
she
I'm different
just.
than the other people, and I can't pretend. It's like,
And
just
listen-
do it though. Actually, just pretend.
But listen,
It's part of this.
she's going to be propelled. She's going to be propelled. I mean, again, I don't know how they will operate, but let's just think about it chronologically. They will lose next week, right? I mean, we've fallen into this trap before of definitely to saying that people will lose for sure. But I just, it's like what the percentage has to be 98% that they lose next week, right? And they
It's
have
hard.
to vote Brandon out, right? So
Yeah.
Emily gets through another vote. And this is what I wanted my line of thinking is that
Unless she pisses people off so badly that Sean, Caleb, and Sabia are like,
I
She has
know,
to go.
man, but like if
No,
I ever
but-
got onto this show and we literally had no chance because of somebody on the tribe, I just don't understand. I don't know how you can operate.
But now Caleb and Sabia. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong.
think it's
We'll
Sabia.
work through it.
I think it's Sabaya. They said
Okay,
It's
Sabaya.
Sabia.
50-50.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sabaya.
it's
Okay,
Sabaya?
that was
Right.
I
We're
thought
working on the
Sabaya,
names. We'll
then I
get there.
looked at the spelling of it and I changed it. So Sabaya. I feel like they're now they're obviously in a worse position because now there's more people that can kind of gang up against them. So like this is why that extortion thing was even more unfavorable for them, because they were like, if we could just pull Hannah through for one vote and then we don't need her number. Now they're in a position where like it's been very much highlighted that they're
Yeah, but
like,
I don't think Sean's on the side of Emily at all.
No. Sean does not like Emily
think
either.
I think Sean is with them. I think Sean is with
Yeah.
Caleb and Sabaya. I do.
Yeah.
I'm
No
just saying
one's on Emily's side.
Yeah, no one is. No one is. Okay, fine.
that
Then,
was-
then we don't have to worry. But even the fact that Caleb's name was being thrown around is like this is crazy.
Yeah,
town.
if I'm Caleb, I'm not happy about her saying my name. But that was also a hilarious scene where Emily's talking to Hannah and Brandon right after both of them are like, we don't want to be here. And she's talking to them. And she's like, we got to vote out Caleb and Sabia. And the look on Brandon's face is like,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to work with you and I don't want to be here. You're talking to the two people who don't want to be here anymore and don't like you.
No, it was a really tough go for Emily's standpoint, but
You don't think Emily like if you guys like you're sitting on a beach, I don't know what your stance is on, aliens and the pyramids, but if everybody around you is saying that aliens built the pyramids, are you like is it going to hurt you inside to just be like, I agree, like yes, they
No.
did? You just say it,
It's-
right?
It's a crazy.
no, you engage in the conversation and you just you fuck around.
That's what
Yeah,
I
but
mean.
I'm fine saying that. I'll say it out loud if I'm on the beach. Everyone's saying aliens built the pyramids. I'm the first person to say, yeah, they did. Of
Look,
course they did.
I'm gonna go out on a
Listen, that-
limb and say that Emily is the least liked person in her office. Like, this is the kind of person that sucks to work with because like they can't be a normal just. Come
Yeah,
on.
no, listen, but she might stay in her lane in her office and have her crew of people, and that's how she operates. And you never know.
But you have to be able to like interact.
No,
with the
when
people
you're
that
on the
put
show,
with.
she has no staying power. She doesn't have any staying power. But I want to dissect your guys' theories on how this lays out for the rest of the game, because again, you almost have to operate as the other two tribes or two conglomerates that are going to have staying power, because again, this tribe's going to lose. So
We've been getting this a lot though the last couple of seasons where one tribe just gets decimated in the pre-merge.
listen,
This
we don't
happened
have to
like
go.
three
We don't have to
times.
go. We don't have to go into our theories of them starting with two tribes, because I really think they should try it again, because
They need
it just helps in with a lot of things, obviously. But I'm of the theory, because we've talked about it on this podcast multiple times, that specifically you tie it back to the blood versus water seasons. When you lose, it's a little bit different when it comes down to a tribe standpoint. But when you lose people early and you're a lower number that's looked to be weak just from the standpoint that you lost people around you, I think it propels you a little bit, as long as you can work yourself to attach on to something else.
Yeah, we saw it last season. We saw it last season, and
Yeah.
it worked out well.
Yeah. So Sabaya and Caleb, candidly, once they navigate this situation, and actually I like Sean too, to be honest. I feel like he picked his spots tonight with having the right conversations, or at least recognizing who he kind of needs to stick with here, because if he stuck with certain other people, he'd be screwed, right?
He read the room. well.
Yeah, these three, because again, Emily's probably the kind of person you still want to kind of keep around, though, too, if she'll be willing to work with you, because I don't know if she's gonna be.
You
willing
only
to
have
work with
so
you.
many losses, though. You
She's
only
a
have
good
so many
shield.
losses.
No, 100%. But that's my thing. They have to get Brandon out next week.
Yeah. Yes.
They have to. So, I think with the four of them, they can get it done.
Yeah.
Um,
But honestly, I like the chances or the future for people like Sabia and Caleb and Sean, because we have seen, like you said, Kale, people who get put in this position pre-merge come out of the merge with a lot of really good survivor skills because they've had to go to tribal a bunch of times and they've had to make really difficult decisions a bunch of times. And you have tribes that either don't go to tribal or go to tribal once, and they don't know how to handle that pressure yet. And so
Yeah,
you're
but
right. People in these kind of situations do come out of the crucible a little bit with,
Simi, I agree with you fully on that, but like here, it's like the tribe is so bad, they're making that part easy. Hannah's offering to leave. We're not flexing survivor muscles here.
You're right,
Hannah's
you're right.
leaving.
But
Brandon's a non-entity. Like it's like
I would argue though that the beach play is more than half of those things. But I agree
For
with
sure.
you. They didn't have to go through with the end game. But next week at least although Brandon is an easy vote. I mean, we've seen a lot of early tribes with a lot of early votes. I think just going to tribal though is a lot of
it's a wake-up call.
does make a difference.
Oh, 1
It's a
million,
wake-up call.
one,
You're
1
watching people go
million
home
percent. I feel like it sets you up for the long run of the game a lot better, but you have to navigate those, right? So the more tribals you go to,
Yes.
obviously, the more chances you have to be gone. So there's people
Totally.
that get voted off all the time.
It's high risk reward. It almost feels like when you get these situations where people are going back to tribal over and over and over again. It's like we always see when people come back for a second game and they just play with a different intensity. It almost feels like these people are playing with 1.5 times intensity instead of the 2 times.
Yeah,
intensity
100%.
post-merge.
If you're judging it from a pre-merge versus post-merge mindset and experience, as with anything in life, pretty much, if you get to garner that, you can understand what it takes to go through it and kind of orchestrate, votes in a certain sense. But I cannot stress enough, if Brandon's performances and the challenges are anything like tonight's challenges, he will tank them again, and they will either have to make the
They're going next week. That's
What?
it. They're going
but
next week. That's it.
they're going as long as he's there. They're going every time he's still there.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Right? I don't.
Dude, he requires people to go backwards in the challenge to
Yes.
get him.
In both
So,
challenges.
We're doing laps for no reason. It's a waste of everyone's energy. It's unsustainable.
All right, here's something I want to run past you guys. If you're Caleb and Sabia tonight, because some of us were talking about this when we were watching the episode. When Hannah is like, I'm going home regardless, I almost feel like, all right, I want 2 people to leave because I want to force this either swap or merge as fast as humanly possible. Like, let's get through it faster.
You need to make sure you have the votes to do that, and
I
agree.
I don't know.
I like that. I like
But
that
if Sean goes
mindset.
along with it, then it's
The problem
we
is
get to speed run week 1 or vote 1 and vote 2.
just get rid of 2 people
100%.
for the price of 1.
Just get rid of them fast.
I don't mind it. I just think that like once like someone said out loud, I don't know who the first person was, but like once someone was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna vote for,"
Brandon.
I'll vote for Hannah. I know that there's no parchment involved right now. Like I know Jeff's not taking this to parchment, so it's like okay, so now it's like it's a very open. Like Caleb didn't
want to
vote.
be the one
I
who's
mean,
putting up a stink now.
They must have cut it out because I'm sure they gave him the opportunity to say, "Yeah, I'm voting Hannah too." But like we didn't even hear the full tribe sound off on it. But it's an interesting spot to like you're saying maybe tell everybody, yeah, we're voting for Hannah. Have everybody else like in on the loop, or at least the people that are in your crew. And like then vote out Brandon and have Hannah leave, and then you're just like, okay, that's one fewer tribal I have to go to. And
exactly, and next challenge we can actually have some sort of a shot.
Yeah,
it's still low because all the other teams are going to sit out 2 people.
They're gonna sit, they're gonna sit out 2 people, but you at least have like a core 4.
It's something at least, but yeah,
interesting.
I don't.
No, you're not wrong because.
I think you don't want to.
I'm of the mindset. Unfortunately, unless he changes his attitude on the situation, what Toast said. I mean, they had to go back twice in both in once in each challenge, creating a lap situation where they're behind.
Yeah.
And it's not even and it's still a struggle. And he's willing to lay there. He laid there on the
Get
base
up,
of
dude.
in the water and in the mud. He just
You
laid there.
gotta
So,
get up.
Bro,
So-
I'm gonna have a nightmare about that. Him sliding and slamming off that wall. I mean, that was.
all right, so I think this will be a fun exercise. Give me your top 3, the two of you right now, and
Wait,
we'll base our conversation off of that. Give me your top 3
Okay,
right
all
now.
right, fine. Because we just have neglected the other two.
I know.
basically.
I
So
know.
I'm putting you to the test at this moment. You want me to start?
Sure.
Well, it
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like
You,
you wanna
you obviously
start.
want to talk about your top 3, so let's hear it.
So I'm going toasty route here too because I'm going to build edit into it. I think just looking at everybody, I think we got to cut to everybody except for really Jay. I don't think we saw Jay once, to be
A
honest.
little bit, just a little bit.
You did. We
very
did
little.
see a Jay. We did see a Jay.
Just a little bit, nothing
All right.
crazy.
So my top 3 from tonight, from an edit standpoint,
Mm.
Katura, Jake, and I'm gonna go Sabaya just because I again I already spoke about this, but I think they're actually gonna be positioned okay, just like we saw last season, where it was Tika, right? That ended up having the 3 of them, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That ended up having the 3 of them got to navigate the waters post merge and everything like that.
Sure.
I'll let you guys. I'll explain it later, but go ahead.
I don't know if I can pick 3 like off the top. I like 2 of your 3. Like, I mean, I like all of your 3 obviously because like from what we watched the same episode.
So
right?
tell me a standout. Just give me a standout or two.
I think that an under the radar person that like was only positive when we saw them tonight was D. I think
Okay.
that Kelly was also very positive. I think that Kelly was like able to like explain how she's very different from Kendra, but she's still vibing with her anyway. Like, I guess noticing that she also seems like very like normal, like someone
Yep.
that you would like completely be like kind of like a chameleon, like she would be able to fit in anywhere sort of person.
Yeah.
I really like Jake a lot. I thought he was funny.
Yep.
He's kind of like upfront with his threats.
Oh, and
So
his,
it's like you don't have to
Boston
really worry
his,
about it.
his Boston accent was fantastic.
Yeah. All right, so I'll say Jake, Kelly, and D.
Yeah.
Tim?
I really agree with your Kelly take, Toast. I really like that one. We didn't get to see a lot of them, but I did like Drew. We
They
got
cut
some
to
nice-
Drew. They cut to Drew multiple times.
Yeah, well, we got a nice little like chat with him where he was like, "I've got these 2 sides of me, like this more outgoing
Yeah,
person and this more."
multiple times, really for no reason. I didn't see one interaction he actually had with a person.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
see any interactions with people. So
Yeah.
you know, who knows? Next week we could see him, and he's a
No, but
psychopath.
it from an edit standpoint, it means something. So
Yeah, I thought it looked
yeah.
good, and he seems like a smart guy. I don't know if that's just his look biasing me because he does have that vibe. But
No,
I
they
liked
like
that.
cut to smarts and they like showed him like so
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We're supposed to believe he's smart, so
And then
I'll
we've
take
been,
it.
We've been talking about the 2, but I really like Sabia and Caleb. Or Sabaya and Caleb. I think they're both great. To me, they're pretty even right now. I think Sabaya maybe is a little bit ahead only because I know I was watching some of the interviews, pre-season with people, and they did like a first impressions. What's everybody's first impressions of everybody? And people were calling out Caleb a lot, being like, he's smiling at everybody. I think he's playing too hard too early. So that maybe brought a little too much in. I don't know how much I want to read into that. So I think Sabia a little bit ahead. But yeah, I like Drew. I like Kelly. I like Sabia. I like Jake, like you guys. I think he's just fun to watch. I think my favorite person to watch the whole episode though is Sifu. Like so much fun.
Oh,
I don't know that he's,
100%.
a
No,
winner pick
he's-
for me, but
no, he
what a
can't be.
fun guy. He's hiding in the woods. He gets.
I don't know
caught,
what my
like-
read is. I don't know what my Sifu read is.
I think he's just a
honestly.
fun character.
I feel like he's like
Right now.
kind of like. Do you think that he's like like authentic though? That's really what I'm trying to like
I
figure
feel
out.
like he is authentic. Like I feel like he got caught and he was like smiling and he was like, "Ah."
No,
Yeah, it was like a little
I think
embarrassed.
it's authentic, but I also think Toast that plays that type of crazy outward craziness where you kind of
Yeah.
get thrown as being labeled in that sense. People
I
can
think it's the
ignore
Carolyn
that.
No,
for
but I'm
that.
saying that that's actually what I'm like worried about is that like he actually is not being authentic with him being like, "Oh, I'm just a crazy person." Like I think he might be saying, "Oh, I'm just a crazy person." I don't know if he really is like I'm a crazy person.
I'm
Do you get
getting
what
the
I'm
vibe that
saying?
he is. I think if he isn't, I think he's done a really good job of convincing me.
I don't know. I think there's more there than meets the eye, and I
Oh, you
think
think he's
that
being sneaky?
he's
You say
trying to, yeah. And I think I mean at least that's, I mean like they're calling him Sifu. Like he's like a what does Sifu even translate to? Is it like mental? What is it like? It's like a He's
They-
literally coach. It's just a different way of saying coach.
Yeah.
It's just a different right. It's the same idea. I don't know. It's clearly worked in the past, right? We have other characters literally
Look,
named
all I
Coach.
know he's fun, and I'm having a good time watching him.
Well, no,
Sure,
sure.
it's all
I
it's
don't mean
also
to
a
take
same
that
it's
away.
also a
I'm
same
just-
line of strategy that you guys pioneered and claimed that Carolyn was leading last season. But
True.
you have to be conscious
extent.
with it. One, and we don't have to go down this line of thought,
you
but
lose,
you
I guess.
you have to be able to command the vote and lead some strategy and whatnot.
Well, we'll see.
So,
We haven't seen enough from him.
no, of course not.
Something that I wanted to talk to you guys about is Austin found a Beware advantage.
Yep.
Very early in the game.
Can't take it. We've done this.
Okay.
We've done this
We
every
talked
time.
about this, right?
Stop taking it.
You can't take it, especially the
Can't
only reason to
take it.
is
It's
like I absolutely know I'm going home. I need
It's
to take this.
it's not
thing.
yet once worked out for somebody.
So is that actually that's what we think? Because I don't want to argue against myself from a year ago. So tell me, what did I say? Because I'm thinking to
remember
myself,
what we talked
I don't-
about.
I don't remember- I don't-
Tribe. I'm like,
I
I'm
don't
on a good
remember
tribe
what-
right now. I have nothing to lose.
I think
I
you
don't
can't
remember
take it.
what you say, but you cannot, unless you complete it before the first vote, you cannot get away with it. Because somebody knows you usually have to tell somebody, or you get exposed for not having a vote at that tribal.
Yeah.
And this one is a tough one anyways, because this one is he's got to go up with the parchment paper to the thing.
and like
and-
complete the
and-
letters because they're
and
all half letters. or whatever.
100%. So he's got to be separated at some point, which I'm sure there's time to do
And
that,
those
right?
letters are in the main area where everyone's always there.
Yeah, which I appreciate the task because I think it's going to be fun TV. But you can't take it. You can't put yourself in this position. We've done this now for 5 seasons we've had the Beware. It's been different
I think so.
iterations.
Did they have one last season? I couldn't
But give it
remember
to
what
somebody
was.
else. Be second line of thinking. Let somebody else find it so you have that piece of information yourself. Don't let them know that you know,
Yeah.
but let someone else have it because it's ultimately probably going to be an out in the public
Exposed.
idol
Yeah.
anyways, which
Yeah, I
is
agree.
which is a detriment as opposed to a benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows you have an idol. They're voting for you. That's it.
It's-
You want to be idol adjacent.
My-
Everyone,
1,000,000%,
beware
unless
advantage
it's
adjacent.
Kelly Wentworth, where it's beyond thought that you might have it, because to me, my biggest takeaway from the new era is Xander had it the entire time, and it played
crippled
against him so poorly.
Yeah.
It was such a detriment to his longevity in
It
the
was-
game.
Yeah.
Where it's just like the day you play that, it's never going to matter. It's not once going to matter. It doesn't even matter that it's protecting you. It's the fact that you have it and we don't have to vote for you is negating your entire game.
Yeah. Everyone's just agreeing. Oh, we don't need to deal with it. Like we all know.
Exactly,
it. We
which
don't-
then belittles his game no matter what he's doing
no
socially.
matter what.
Yep.
Yeah. Tragic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's like you can't get swept up in the excitement of finding this thing. You gotta just leave it.
Again,
And that's
it's
a hard.
go ahead.
No, if you're gonna keep going down this road, I'm
No,
down
I just
to
said
listen.
it's a tough thing to ignore But the second level of thinking, now that we've seen it as much as we have, which all of these people, if they've watched, they've seen it. You have to try to orchestrate somebody else getting it. It has to be the line of thought. It has to be.
Yeah.
I think
hopefully-
so.
hopefully that
I
happens.
think that's your best option. Will they let you do that?
Hide it
'cause I feel
somewhere
like-
else for sure. I would hope they would, because it's better
I
TV
thought,
anyway.
I thought like the thing, yeah, I hope they would too. But I feel like the thing was that like they didn't want people to like hide it and then be able to pick it up later for themselves. I thought it was like they were gonna like re-hide it or something. But I don't really know.
I think that if somebody did something clever enough that it was really interesting and like provocative, like they would obviously let that happen because that's great TV.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to think like you're not gonna ask like, oh, can I go hide this in Sifu's, whatever. But like if you just grabbed it and you like brought it somewhere and then
Yeah,
orchestrated
hit it
somebody
next to the
finding it,
fire or something stupid.
then it would be like, okay, like that's gameplay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it
yeah.
is. They would let them run.
I
with
think
it.
it would be great.
Look, I
TV
think that's
to
the
go- yeah,
only
to
thing
go
that Beware
to go
Event
put
is
it in
good for at
someone's
this point.
bag. To go put it in someone's bag would be great fucking TV. No?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
that would be crazy. That would be crazy. I don't know if you want to put it in the bag though, because it's like if I find it in my bag, I'm like, okay, well, a player put this here.
You don't know.
I guess. Yeah. I guess.
You
I
have
guess
no
you're right.
idea.
It's yeah. I think that's the
I-
only thing that.
That's
that
how
Beware
you, that
Event is
I'm
good
I'm
for.
sorry. That's how you have to play this damn thing, because it's not a help / the idols this early anyways, unless you navigate the entire game, don't really propel you anyways.
Yeah, I mean, if
You
you're-
get so
if
much
you're that
info
big of
from
a-
that too, Kale. Like if you think about it, like because like you give that person the opportunity to either come up to you or not come up to you, but
Yes.
but you
Yes.
know that they know, and they don't know that
Yes.
you know. It's a lot of info. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
way
out on
more.
Beware. I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm out.
100%. Go ahead with what your other piece of commentary too.
I wanted to talk about like someone that you mentioned, someone that I mentioned too, like the conversation between Jake and Katura on the beach. I thought it was like a nice like interplay. She was pretending that she's like doesn't know anything about law. And
There's
then
two
Jake is a
people.
lawyer.
Julie did
There's
the same
three-
thing.
So, but there's three
There's a lot of
lawyers here.
attorneys.
This is what I was gonna say. There's three lawyers on the season. That was like gonna be my
Jay got accepted to Harvard Law School.
Who?
Oh,
Jay.
Oh,
the
really?
singer.
Yeah, she got accepted and turned it down. That's what she said in one of her pre-show interviews.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
didn't. I didn't hear anything from her.
What-
She did
why-
say she was a singer-songwriter in a group
but she
chat,
was
but
literally like got accepted into law.
I didn't
school.
see a confessional from
Why
her.
are
I saw a
there three
confession.
lawyers on this damn? Oh, I don't understand.
There's a lot.
There's too many lawyers.
I-
There's so many jobs you could be. No?
Yeah, that's true.
Three very
but
different
I-
type of lawyers, though.
Yeah, sure, but they all went to law school. They're all like, they're all lawyers, right? I mean, they're far different than, gym owner. And I'm looking at school principal. I'm looking at other people's things. Regardless, I thought that was interesting. I mean, that there shouldn't be three lawyers, right? We can agree.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
People,
they don't have
they're all
a
gonna end
doc.
up-
They
they're
don't have
all
a
gonna-
doctor on here.
No, but they're all going to end up in final trial and be like, this is how I use my life skills in Survivor. They're going to just talk about the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not as compelling if they're. Regardless, I was going to say it was a good conversation because it was nice. It was cheeky. It showed like a juxtaposition between how one person was very overt and honest in how they were behaving and how another person was like very subtle and kind of throwing that person under the bus and highlighting how like duplicitous they were being, but in like a good way, not like in like in like an endearing way. Like Kale, I'm sure you watched that and you were like, I like her, which is what I came out with. Katura.
Sure. Yeah. To be honest with you, it was very edit based as well. I mean, she potentially had the most FaceTime tonight, outside of Lulu.
Outside of the
people.
Lulu
Yeah.
losers.
Exactly.
The Lulu losers.
I think she had a ton of FaceTime. I agree. That's why I liked her. I mean, it was all positive surrounding her too, pretty much, right? It was like, she was taking a spin on everything. Kendra was painted on that tribe to be a little bit of a polarizing figure from the standpoint that I think she's going to be very vocal, obviously.
Yeah.
A little too much time on Bruce, I think.
I was going to say 40 minutes into the podcast, we're not talking about the celebrity yet. I'm like,
I know.
Bruce was getting a little bossy out there.
I'm like, Bruce should not be garnering this much attention. I mean, to be honest with you, the fact that people recognized Bruce. I mean, we're doing a podcast. Like I feel like we watch Survivor, like I would say a few standard deviations more. But right,
Yes.
like intense.
At least from an analytical
intensity.
standpoint, yeah, 100%.
And I'm looking at Bruce. I'm like, I don't know if I would even recognize Bruce out here right now. Jeff is like, oh, someone's getting a lot of looks. I'm like, what? Really?
We saw him for half of an episode.
Yeah.
It was half an episode. Yeah, it wasn't, and I don't
How do
even
you
really
recognize
know.
him not covered in his own blood dripping from his head? You know, like
Correct.
that's all
Correct.
I remember him from.
Correct. And listen, I'm happy he's back and he got a second chance because I think it's
It's
you know,
nice.
it's
It's a nice
indicative
little
of the
thing.
of the polar opposite of what happened with Hannah tonight, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't think he's long as a favorite after that was my big takeaway tonight is that it's almost as if that whole situation went to his head a bit too, for whatever reason.
Yeah, he was really, it was tough too because it was him and then the three women on his tribe, and he was really mansplaining it up on that beach.
But saying I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Like don't
I
ask me.
don't wanna, but this is the best way to do it.
He was out there for 24 hours, right? Like I don't think he was out there for a minute more than 24 hours.
Dude, it was like 12 hours. He like hit his head and we went home like 12 hours later in like the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
So
yeah.
what's
yeah.
going on here? Where's this
I think he was
expertise
just a little
coming
too
from?
excited. I think he was a little too.
Listen, that recording did happen in I think in like May of 22, and this happened in May of 23. So he does have some semblance of going through the process, and then
but getting on the
it was played up on that boat, which I think ultimately hurt him because I there was no reason for it to be played up as much as it was by Jeff.
Well,
I don't think.
Everyone
no,
in that
it was
interaction
Emily.
lost. It was Emily losing, and it was also Bruce losing. They both.
Yes.
Emily
that whole
and
thing was
Bruce
bad.
both lost in that interaction.
Why does Emily need to speak up there? I don't understand.
It's just
Because
the nature
Emily
of
is
who
an
she is. I think.
abrasive person.
But so it's just a personality thing you're saying?
Yeah.
Because
Can't
there's
help it.
no reason why anyone should from a different tribe like just be like.
Well, the only
don't know,
thing.
it's- It's why
my
she couldn't
first
lie about the aliens.
my
Same.
first inclination was if you're playing real long game here, which candidly I don't even know if there'll ever be another returnee season because there is none anymore. If she wants to become a character is the one other piece of it, which I don't think she's doing, but that's the only other way to
It
look
very
at this.
rarely
purpose.
it doesn't work out well most of the time when
Yeah.
you call someone out like that, like Francesca calling out Boston Rob, and then Rob votes her out first and then wins the season. The only time it actually works out like pretty favorably is Dom calls out Chris Noble episode 1 and was like, I don't think you did that well in the challenge, whatever. And then they have like this awesome rivalry and it's good TV,
100%.
But like there's
No, I
reason
think she's
why-
gonna. I think she's gonna be good TV.
Yeah.
I just think she couldn't hold back. That was her issue.
Yeah.
Dom was also
I
good
think
at
it's
the
a bad
game, though, I'm
sign for
saying.
her longevity. Yeah, good for entertainment. Bad.
Well,
for
and
her-
Dom has parlayed this into he's been on the challenge and he should be
Yeah.
lined up. He should be lined up for a returning
return.
season if it ever happens.
Yeah. Okay, one thing I wanted to go over really quickly, and we can scoot through this fast, but I think I solved the sweat.
The savvy?
Do you mean the savvy?
No, the sweat portion of the sweat versus sweat and savvy.
What do you
Well,
mean
the
you
sweat
solved it?
portion, they did it. They lifted the logs.
No, but they took too long, and so they didn't have enough time for that puzzle. What they should have done, okay, hear me out,
Okay.
is you line up. There's 40 logs. You line up like 10,
Oh.
5 side by side, and
And
then
you
roll
roll
them
it.
all down. And then you go from the back and roll them all the way up. You only have to end up carrying like 10 of them, and then the rest of them all get rolled.
That's a great idea.
So
That's an
much
awesome
faster.
idea.
You had the energy back. I saw it and I was like, "Oh my god, I would." Kill
I think
this.
that's
How
a
much?
really good idea.
So my take. I agree. It's ingenious. I mean, you're a smart guy.
Why?
How much time do you think they spent on that realistically? I didn't think again.
I forget how.
I'm
long
not
the hour
I'm not
was.
sitting from a big perch saying this shit's not hard. It's 100% hard.
2
Did it
hours,
take them-
I think.
No,
Was-
they had an hour to do everything.
Oh,
It
they
was
had an
an hour
hour
for
to do
total.
everything. Got
Yeah,
it.
an hour
It
to-
probably took 35, 40 minutes on the logs.
To me, it seemed like how much they were pressed on the. It almost took them seemed like 52 minutes, maybe.
Might have been.
On
It
the-
honestly might have
It
been. I
was
mean,
too
they were
many
really
minutes.
pressed on that puzzle.
I
I
think.
thought you were gonna say you knew how to solve the fucking Savage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
puzzle, I
thing. I'm
couldn't
like,
see it
we
well
didn't even get
enough
to see
to-
that. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna go out there and play Survivor, let's say next season, the season after, look at that puzzle. Pause your TV, look at that. I guarantee you that's something that's gonna come up in the future.
It has to do something.
they're
It
gonna
has to do
bring it back.
something.
No one
they're,
solved it.
They're worth out of it.
It has to do something with
Yeah.
weaving it in and out of itself.
It's
to like,
counterintuitive. You have to go up the whole thing. It wouldn't be up. There wouldn't be like levels to it if you didn't use the level on the top. You got to use the level. You know, you got to bring it
Yeah.
up the top.
And then it gets you to the second one, and then something gets you to the third.
Someone's gonna
It's a
pause
real,
the TV, get it right, and then come back and do it. And then they're gonna say that they did that, and then we're gonna be like,
Yeah,
that.
they'll be like, you guys are doing the challenge that nobody could complete.
wait. Say how you were gonna. I just thought about this log thing a little bit more.
Okay.
Say
All right,
how
so
you were
there's
gonna
40
do this.
There's 40 logs. You carry logs and put them end to end, like bing, 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 and you do them 2 by 2.
What do you mean vertically?
Like from the log pile to where you got to carry them to. You're creating a railroad.
Yeah, Sim. Did you know how far that was? It was far as fuck.
Yeah, but it's not gonna take all 40 to do that. Even if it's half.
It might.
that's
I'm
half the logs.
dead ass. It might. I'm sort of that was my.
No, because some of them were really. But here's the thing, is even if you did half,
Yeah,
that's still half the logs that you don't have to carry.
yeah.
But then
Are
you have
you
to
roll-
carry.
you're
Didn't you have to
rolling it,
carry?
right? You're
Didn't you have to
pushing it?
carry? No, I don't know exactly what he's saying.
Simi, are you saying you roll it, push it? That's what I'm thinking. Like you're like rolling it
No.
you
over
roll
the
them
log.
over the railroad that you've created.
I like that idea. I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's
You lay
longer
them
than
out.
I think it's longer than you
No,
think
no,
that
look,
it wouldn't
you-
even
you-
matter.
I think
You don't
you've
even
got-
need Simi. You don't need two rails. You just need one middle log, and then you roll
And then
the
both of
logs
you-
over the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you do them like this, Kale. Let's see. You've got pile over here.
Yeah.
You've got the end right here. You line them up like that, and then you roll the log.
Like this. You're rolling it over the thing.
You're rolling
Yes.
it over.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you
the way
but
down.
I almost think you would need for that to be beneficial 20 at the most to create the fucking railroad thing you're talking about. So
Yes,
you can
but
get 20
then-
over.
But then,
No,
then
but
you're
the nice
eating
thing,
it. It's
Kale-
eating itself. It's eating
Yeah.
itself.
The railroad itself, you just go to the end, take the last one, and roll them all the way down, and then. you know what I mean?
I understand that, but I do think all four. I think it could have been more than 20 to create the railroad. To be honest,
Maybe, but I'm
Do it
gonna be honest.
halfway and then do it again.
I think even if it's 30, it's still.
no, you're
No,
probably
because-
you're probably right.
Because even if
I-
it's 30, right? The 30 that you create, only the last one has to go all the way the whole distance.
yeah.
the last one you drop to create that because you're rolling everything else.
You could be rolling
Exactly.
them to create the railway at a certain point.
You roll them to create
You're
the
rolling
railway, and then you
to
roll them
create.
to get rid of the railway.
It's like, sustaining itself, but moving down the beach.
You lay one down, you roll. You lay the second one down, then you roll.
Roll.
across two, then you lay the third one down, then you roll across. Three.
Until you get all of the logs, and then now you're
Start
either
from the
going
back.
distance wise or you're just bringing it to the end.
Yeah,
I like it.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I mean, again,
The
I still think
logs
you're gonna have to do a decent amount of carrying, building the road, unless you're saying
No,
you're
no,
rolling
no.
from the start.
you don't have to. You don't have to do any care.
The rolling situation's still gonna screw up your back a bit. Like
Yeah.
it's
And
they're
not
as
all
Yeah, but
simple.
so-
they're not
so
all
is-
equal
who the-
size logs.
No, there
so
was
is
some
this.
small. There was some small ones. That's just an easy.
I know, but that's why you do the long ones first, and then you just.
You're probably
So
right.
the-
You're
so
you're
the-
probably
the-
shaving off. You're
think
probably
both
shaving off
options
time.
would be that.
So the sweat challenge, you need a
Was
savvy.
actually a
You need a savvy,
Yes.
and then
And then the
one,
savvy, you just need to
break
fucking
it.
rip
You
that
just-
thing off. Take a
you
log,
just
take a
break
log,
it.
and slam it down the thing.
Yeah, that's how you solve it.
All right, let's leave it off. Winner pick. Go ahead.
How many times are we doing winner
from
picks?
Week one.
Winner
Wow.
pick. Listen, I won the podcast last season. So Here we go.
You
Put it on
won
the
the
line.
podcast.
Yes.
It turns out this is a competition this whole time, Toast.
100%. Look,
And,
look.
the prize is the podcast. Is that what he's saying?
Correct. I won the podcast.
Yeah. He won the
I
podcast.
won the
All right, Kat,
podcast.
well, if this is your idea, you go first. Who is your winner pick week 1? I'm writing it down for us so we can keep track of these.
Oh, we'll remember.
Sure. I don't
My
know.
week
Your
1
business
pick.
history.
My week 1 pick. Sabaya.
Okay. Kale's got Sabaya for a week 1 pick.
I like her name as well.
Yeah, cool name. Toast, who's your winner pick?
She
week
did look
1?
like E.T. at one point with the
When
buff
she had
over her head,
the
yeah.
buff over her head? Yeah, that's funny.
Oh man, I don't know. I do think if someone's winning from that Lulu tribe, it would be, but I don't know. We just have so little to go on.
Look, let's be
No,
clear. this is
don't
even
play
more
the
of a
fence.
guess
That's
than
why
it
I'm
normally
doing
is for
this.
us.
That's why I'm doing this.
Toast, just do who you like the most so far. You know what I mean? Like, who cares at this point?
He doesn't
All
want to
right.
be wrong.
Of course. Well, I'm obviously
With you around, nobody wants to be wrong because our faces are gonna get rubbed in it no matter what we.
You're
pick.
gonna win the podcast. Where you're gonna take my house next week if you know what I mean. I'm gonna go with Jake for now. I'm gonna regret it and I'm gonna change it soon. But
No,
Maybe.
I regret
What-
not taking him because I think he's gonna be fun. But
I like Jake.
I think Jake is gonna be
He's
really
a fun
fun.
person to root for.
Right now I'm gonna go Drew. I think he was really fun. I know he's really young, but I'm excited to see what we get from him because we got some nice little.
we're not gonna
edits.
name he kind of we're not gonna name names, but while we look at this picture, he kind of looks like Drew from our high school. To be quite honest with you, as it stands
does.
right now.
Kinda,
does.
yeah.
It does. Shout out Drew if you're watching.
It's not.
Gentlemen, it's yeah. I hope it picks up. I think this Brandon situation is going to be tumultuous next week. So
Yeah, look, I think it was a rocky ending. Maybe a tough first episode, but I think we have some characters this season. I'm
Yes.
excited to see where it goes. You know, I don't know, Kale, if we can really say your catchphrase at the end of this week. I think we might have to hold on to onto that. I don't know if we're quite loving the casting exactly with the Hannah situation. But this has been great. I'm excited to see where the season goes, and I'll see you boys next week. Peace.